Good afternoon and welcome to Homewood-Flossmoor for today's match between the Homewood-Flossmoor Vikings and the Lockport Porters. Antonio Brown starting on the mound for the Vikings as he tosses it in for strike one. 0-1 on the fastball from Brown. He comes set. Second pitch. Another fastball. That one's outside. Called for a ball. It's 1-1. Called for strike two. 1-2 now on Flub, the starting shortstop for the Porters. Here it comes. That one's grounded to first base, fielded cleanly by Rodriguez. He'll jog over to first for the easy first out of the inning. One out, so that'll bring up Kozak. One out. Right fielder Kozak up to the plate as that one's taken for a ball. Two lefties at the top of the order for the Porters, going against the right-handed Brown today. Brown comes set. Here comes the pitch. Fastball called for a strike. It's 1-1. Vikings and Porters faced off on Tuesday. Vikings took the win in the first game of the series, looking for the sweep here today at home. Final score of the game was 10-7. Henry Humes, Cormac Saunders pitched that game for the Vikings. 2-1 count here on Kozak. Here comes the pitch. That one fouled off. So 2-2. Two count. Here comes the pitch. That one high off of Munoz's glove. So it's going to be a full count. Here comes the pitch from Brown. Fastball, swing and a miss. So his first strikeout of the game. 2 up, 2 down for the Porters now, and that'll bring up the third hitter in the lineup. It's Del Pate. Starting at first base for Lockport. 2 outs. Here comes the pitch. That one driven in the air towards center field. Heidelberg going back. That's going to be in the gap in right center. It'll die right in the grass. Heidelberg will pick it up, throw in. And Del Ponte will be in the second with a 2-out double. Satunas up now for the Porters. Number 4, he's behind the plate for Lockport today as the catcher. Brown comes set. Here he comes. Fastball, that one's low and inside. 1-0. Here comes the pitch from Brown. Fastball, that one's grounded foul. So 1-1 here. Two outs, runner on second for the Porters. Count is 1-1 here on the catcher. Brown set, the pitch to Saltunis is high, so it's 2-1. pitch from Brown is a fastball. Called for strike 2. So it's a 2-2 count here for Saltunis. Brown comes set. Here it comes. That one grounded up the middle. It's going to get through. Heidelberg will pick it up in center, and the Porters will score their first run of the game. On the Saltunis single, Del Ponte will score for Lockport as they get ahead early, 1-0. So still 2 outs. It's a runner on first as the Porters lead 1-0, and that'll bring up Nagel. Nagel, the starting third baseman for the Porters today. Brown said, here's the pitch. Fastball fouled off. It's 0-1 on Nagel. Here comes the pitch from Brown. Curveball down the middle. 0-2. Here comes the pitch. Fastball, that one's outside and away. Sorry, outside and low. So it'll be 1-2 on Nagel as the runner gets to second on the wild pitch. That one fouled off. So still 1-2. Brown comes set. Here it comes. Fastball on the inside part of the plate. Run up for strike 3. Inside fastball. Brown gets the backwards K for the second K of the inning. We'll head to the bottom of the first. Porters lead 1-0. You're watching HF Viking Baseball. Jameer Heidelberg up for the Vikings as he fouls off the first pitch. 0-1. Here comes the windup in the pitch. Fastball high and outside. 1-1. Starting pitcher for the Porters. Heidelberg takes it low. It's 2-1. Starting pitcher for the Porters is number 20, Jack Sheik. Here comes the windup in the pitch. At 1 again, fouled off by Heidelberg. So 2-2. Here's pitch. Fastball high. Fouled off by Heidelberg again. So 2-2. Here comes the windup in the pitch. At 1. Fouled off again by Heidelberg. Still 2-2. Here's the windup in the pitch. That one, fouled off. That one's way out of here to the right. Still 2-2 on Heidelberg. Still 2-2 on the starting center fielder for the Vikings. Wind up in the pitch from Sheik. That one, fouled off again down the third base line. So a battle here to start the inning for the Vikings. Two and two. That one in the dirt. Heidelberg will draw a full count now. It's 3-2. Here's the pitch from Sheik. Fastball, that one's low. Heidelberg will take a leadoff walk for the Vikings. And that'll bring up Jameer Scott for HF. Heidelberg leads off of first. Jameer Scott up for the Vikings. She comes set. Here comes pitch. Bunt shown by Scott, but takes it back. 0-1. Pick-off attempt to first. Heidelberg back in time. She comes set. Here comes the pitch. Bunt shown. Scott gets it down. Fielded clean by the third baseman. Thrown to first is in time, but he will advance Heidelberg to second. So it'll be one out. Runner on second for Arthur Stamps for the Vikings. One out. Heidelberg leads off second. Cheek comes set. Here's pitch. Fastball outside and high. 1-0. Cheek comes set. Here's pitch. At 1. Low on Stamps. So it's 2-0. Two-0 count. Cheek the pitch. That one fouled off. Back at the net. 2-1. Cheek comes set. Here comes the pitch. That one grounded up the middle by Stamps. It'll get through. Heidelberg on his way home. The throw will be cut off. Stamps will get to first. Heidelberg will score for the Vikings. And they'll tie it up 1-1 on the Arthur Stamps single. Center. So Stamps at first. Score is now 1-1. Only one out still for the Vikings. And Evian Rodriguez will step up. Sheet comes set. Here comes the pitch. Fastball, swing and miss from Rodriguez. Sheet comes set. Comes the pitch. Time called by the catcher. Sheet comes set. Pickoff attempt. Stamps back in plenty of time, however. Fastball outside on Rodriguez. It's 1-1 now on the starting first baseman. Rodriguez usually seen at third, but made a switch to first today. Stamps on the steal. The throw down is not going to be in time as it gets past into center field. Stamps will hold that second, though. Pitch was a strike, so it's 1-2 on Rodriguez with a runner in scoring position. Sheet comes set. Here comes pitch. That one lined foul by Rodriguez. So still 1-2. Hard line drive, but just foul got out of play for Rodriguez. Stamps leads off the second. Sheet comes set. Takes a peek at him. Here's the pitch. That one fouled off again by Rodriguez. Still 1-2. Sheet comes set. Here comes the pitch. That one's outside. So 2-2. Here comes the pitch from Sheik. That one's in the dirt, but blocked by the catcher. So it's now a full count on Rodriguez. Still only one out. Holmes on deck for the Vikings. Stamps leading off the second. Sheet comes set. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss by Rodriguez. He'll go down swinging for the second out of the inning, and that'll bring up Derek Holmes for the Vikings. So 2 outs. Stamps leading off of second. Here comes pitch from Sheik. That one low and outside for ball 1. One and 0. Here comes pitch. Fouled off. Sheet comes set. Here comes the pitch. That one fouled off by Holmes. Off the net. So 1-2 on the designated hitter for the Vikings. Stamps remains at second. 2 outs. Mateo Morales on deck for the Vikings. Cheek comes set. Here's the pitch. That one fouled off by Holmes again. So 1-2. Still 1-2. The Vikings driving up Sheik's pitch count. 28 pitches here in the first inning. Only one tallied on the board so far here as we're knotted up at 1 apiece. Here's the pitch. Curveball just a bit low. Holmes with a good eye there to take it. So it's 2-2. Looking to get Stamps in and not leave him stranded here at second. Here comes pitch from Sheik. At 1. Fastball in the dirt. So full count now on Derek Holmes. Sheik comes set. The payoff pitch. Here it comes. Curveball, that one's lined into center field, but caught by the center fielder. He just had to take a couple steps to his right. Vikings do get one on the board, however. We'll head to the top of the second. We're knotted up at 1 apiece. You're watching HF Viking Baseball. Brown comes set. A 1 pitch. Here it is. That one's grounded to short. Fielded cleanly by Voris. Throw to first is not going to be in time. His throw is a bit offline. Tough play for Bohannon there. Pickoff attempt, but he's back in time. Contrat. Here comes pitch. 1-0 on Contrat. Brown comes set. Here's the pitch. Runner goes. That one's grounded up the middle. It'll get through as Morales went to cover second on the steal. The ball took his place where he would have been. So some tough luck there for the Vikings. It'll be runners on first and second now for Metcher. Still no outs for the Porters. Brown comes set. Here comes pitch. That one, swing and a miss from Metcher. It's 0-1. Still 0-1 on Brown or on Metcher. Brown comes set. Runners on first and second for the Porters. Bunt shown but taken back. So it's 1-1 on the starting left fielder for the Porters. Brown set, bunt shown again. He pulls back and fouls it off. Brown comes set. The 1-2 pitch, here it comes. Grounded to first base. Rodriguez touches first. Time is going to be called by the umpire. I believe they're discussing on if the ball hit his foot. They're going to call the batter out. Batter thinks it was a foul ball, though. So 1 out for the Porters. Runners on second and third. Brown set. Here's a pitch. Fastball inside part of the plate called for strike 1. 0-1 on Miller. Miller in the 9-hole for the Porters. On deck after him is Flood, the leadoff hitter. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss from Miller. So he's in a hole now. It's 0-2. Brown looking for a payoff pitch. Here it comes. That one gets away from Munoz. Runner going home. The toss. And he's in there safely. A ball on the pitch. So the Porters will go up 2-1 here in the top of the second. On the wild pitch from Brown. One-two count on Miller. Brown comes set. One runner leads off a third. Swing and a miss. Ugly swing there from Miller. Brown beat him up high with the fastball. Check the replay there on that pitch. Just way late. And an inside jam. So that'll bring Flood back up with 2 outs. Runner on third for the Porters. Inside fastball called for a strike. So 0-1 on Flood. Here comes the pitch. Bunt shown by Flood. He gets it down. Fielded cleanly. Throw to first is in time for the third out of the inning for the Vikings. So they get out with minimal damage. Just 1 run scored. We'll head to the bottom of the second. Porters lead 2-1. You're watching HF Viking Baseball. Huh? I mean, I probably could if I wanted to, but I'm not going. Mateo Morales leading off for the Vikings. As there's a fastball grounded up the middle. Fielded cleanly, throw to first. It's going to be in time. A nice play there from the second baseman to just beat Morales and save the leadoff single for the Vikings. Initially thought it would get through, but a great play there to save a hit. Mateo Munoz will step up for the Vikings. Here comes the pitch. Low fastball called for ball one. Wind up, here's the pitch. Slider on the outside part of the plate. It's 1-1. One and one. Here comes the windup from Sheik. Another slider. Called for strike two on Munoz. It's 1-2. Wind up, here's the pitch. That one grounded. Fielded cleanly by the first baseman. He'll take it to first for the second out of the inning. So 2 outs. Javoris Bohannon stepping up now for the Vikings. Here comes the windup in the pitch. Inside fastball called for ball one. It's 0-1 on Voris. Fastball just a bit low, called for ball two. So it's 2-1. Here comes the windup from Sheik, the pitch. Fastball called for strike one. So 2-1. That one low and away. 2-2. 2-2 count on Bohannon. 2 outs. Jack Cassidy on deck for the Vikings. The windup from Sheik and the pitch. There's a curveball. Bohannon half swung, just grounded it just a bit foul. So still 2-2. Wind up in the pitch. That one fouled off the net. So still 3-2. 3-2 count. Here comes the windup from Sheik in the pitch. That one driven in the air towards left field. Left fielder going back at the track. He'll make the catch. So Bohannon just missed the home run. We'll head to the top of the third. Porters lead 2-1. You're watching HF Viking Baseball. Kozak up now for the Porters. Brown comes set. Here's the pitch. That one grounded in between short and second. It'll get through. Damsel fielded it cleanly in right field, tore it in. So it'll be a leadoff single for Kozak for the Porters. That'll bring up Del Ponte. With Kozak leading off the first. Here comes the windup in the pitch. Swing and a miss from Del Ponte. 0-1. Pickoff. Move from Brown. No throw, though. So still 0-1. Pitch from Brown. That one lined into center field. Heidelberg coming in. It'll get down. So the Porters will go station to station. Kozak will go to second. Del Ponte to first. That'll bring up Satanas now for the Porters. With runners on first and second. Nobody out for Lockport. Brown comes set. Here comes the pitch. Fastball. Called for strike one. 0-run runners on first and second. Porters lead 2-1. No outs. Here in the top of the third. Brown comes set. Comes the pitch. Bunt shown. But he pulls back and fouls it off, so it'll be 2-0. Or I'm sorry, 0-2. Now. Here's the pitch. That one driven into right field. That's going to get down the line. It's going to be a fair ball. Third base coach waving the first one around. He'll stop the second one. So it'll be a no-out double that scores one for Sultanas. That'll put the Porters up 3-1 here in the top of the third. So Nagel stepping up now. Runners on second and third for him. Porters already have one on the board so far in this inning. There's a ground ball. Fielded cleanly by Bohannon. Throw to first is going to be in time. Run will score, though. So it'll be 4-1 Porters. Runner on second, advance to third. Here comes the pitch. There's a ground ball. Fielded cleanly by Cassidy. High throw. Rodriguez will get the tag out. So dodged a bullet there as the throw almost went over Rodriguez's head. It'll be 2 outs. The runner on third stays put. So Brown looking to strand that runner on third with 2 outs. Ball gets away from Munoz, but it bounces right back. So runner on third stays put. Here comes the pitch from Brown. That one. Line to shortstop off the glove of Bohannon. And the runner from third will score. It'll be 5-1 Porters. Going to be an error on Bohannon. Brown comes set. Here's the pitch. Fastball, runner goes. Throw to second is. They get him! The throw was not in time. The runner beat the throw, but he slid off the bag. Bohannon held the tag on him, and they get the call out at second. So Vikings get bailed out there. We'll head to the bottom of the third. Porters lead 5-1. You're watching HF Viking Baseball. Cassidy up now for the Vikings. One and 0 now. Here comes the windup in the pitch. Fastball, that one's inside. So it's 2-0 on Cassidy. He's the 9-hole hitter. Heidelberg on deck in the leadoff spot. Fastball, that one's called for ball 3. So 3-0. Wind up, here's the pitch. Low and away. Cassidy will take the 4-pitch leadoff walk. And that'll bring up Demir Heidelberg with a chance to get something going for the Vikings here in the bottom of the third. Here comes the pitch from Sheik. That one driven in the air, deep right field. Right fielder going back. He'll make the catch, though. Cassidy will have to sprint back to first. A deep drive there by Heidelberg. Just missed the extra base hit there for the Vikings, but it's caught by the right fielder for the first out, and that'll bring up Jameer Scott for the Vikings. Kickoff attempt to first. Cassidy back in time. 0-1 count here on Miller. Brown said here's the pitch. Inside fastball. So it's 3-1. Brown set the pitch. Fastball outside part of the plate called for strike 2. So it's a full count on Miller. Here comes the pitch. Just a bit low on Miller. So he'll take the walk. Pickoff attempt. There's a decent amount of errors too. I think we're like 4. There's 2 on. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. Throw it on to second. And they got him! Not even close! Great throw by Munoz. Great tag by Bohannon for the second out of the inning. Flood with an ugly swing on the pitch as well. So it's 0-1. Here comes a pitch from Brown. Curveball, grounded to first. Rodriguez tossed to first. And Flood will get to first as he beats out Brown for the single. Here comes the pitch. Fouled off. Oh and 1 count. Comes Brown, steps off. Pickoff attempts. Ball gets away. Flood will advance to second on the pickoff. Fouled off. Out of play. Brown steps off again. It's a 0-2 count. Brown comes steady. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Brown gets him out. So 4 innings completed for Brown. We'll head to the bottom of the 4th. Score is 5-1. You're watching HF Viking Baseball. Fastball down the middle. Called for strike one. It's 0-1. Comes to wind up in the pitch. That one's driven in high in the air by home center fielder. Calls it. He comes on and he'll make the diving catch. Don't know that he needed to dive, but he did it anyway for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up Mateo Morales for the Vikings. Ground ball. Tipped by the shortstop, but it'll get in the outfield. Morales with the single for the Vikings. Here comes pitch. High fastball hits Munoz in the head. Time will be called. Here comes pitch. Fastball taken down the middle by Bohannon. It's 0-1. Sheet comes set. Here comes pitch. Swing and a miss. Pick off attempt to first. Robertson back in time. Later. Here comes pitch. Fastball outside. Catcher pump fake to first again. Sheet comes set. Here comes the pitch. Fastball inside part of the plate, called for strike 3 on Bohannon for the second out of the inning. And that'll bring up Jack Cassidy for the Vikings. 2 outs, runners on first and second. Looking to drive them in here. Grounded up the middle. Fielded by the second baseman, who fumbles it. Throw to first, not going to be in time. So bases loaded for Demir Heidelberg with a chance to get the Vikings right back in this game. Currently down by 4. 2 outs. Heidelberg 0 for 1 on the day. Had a leadoff walk to start the game and then flew out to deep right field in the second at bat. See if he can push one a little further here. Not this game up. Swing and a miss. He sure thought about it. It's 0-1. Here comes the pitch. That one grounded foul. Oh, 2 count on Heidelberg. Here comes the pitch. Fastball, that one's lined in. It's left center field. It's going to get down. It's going to get all the way to the wall. It's bobbled by the center fielder. Waving all the runners home. Heidelberg will go to third. Cassidy will score. Heidelberg sliding to third. He's safe. A 2-out triple for Demir Heidelberg puts the Vikings right back in this game. It's 5-4. Huge clutch hit there by Demir Heidelberg. Here comes pitch. Fastball, that one's low and away. 1-0. Here comes pitch. Here comes the pitch. Pickoff attempt to third. Heidelberg back in time. It's 1-0. Sheet comes set. 1-0 pitch to Scott. Low fastball pickoff attempt to third. Heidelberg back in time again. Comes the pitch. Fastball. I'm sorry, curveball down the middle. Sheet comes set. Scott will take the walk. So it'll be runners at the corners for Arthur Stamps. Canane coming in for the Porters. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. Stamps up now for the Vikings as he pops that one. Sky high in the right field. Right fielder settles under it. He'll make the catch. So 1 pitch, 1 out for the new pitcher. But the Vikings put 3 on the board on the Heidelberg RBI triple. We'll head to the top of the 5th. It's a 1-run game. Porters lead 5-4. You're watching HF Viking Baseball. pop fly into right field as it gets down for a leadoff double for the Porters. Satunas up now for the Porters with Del Ponce on second with the leadoff double. Ground ball to first is fielded cleanly by Rodriguez. He'll touch the bag for the first out of the inning. Del Ponte advances to third. Nagel up now for the Porters. Here comes the pitch. Curveball, grounded foul by Nagel. It's 0-1. 0-1. Here comes the pitch. That one's popped high. Foul. It's 0-2. Ryan Myers substituting in for Mateo Munoz. He got knocked in the head on the hit by pitch. 0-2 count. Myers sets up high, but it's a low away fastball. 1-2 still on Nagel. Here comes the pitch. Curveball, that one's grounded, just foul. So still 1-2. Ground comes set. The 1-2. That one popped. Foul. Out of play. One, 2 count. That one's high. So 2-2 on Nagel. Ground comes set. Here's the pitch. Fastball high again. 3-2. Ground comes set. Here's the pitch. That one fouled off, out of play. Still 3-2. Comes the pitch. Fouled off again. That one's off the net. It's still 3-2 on Nagel. Pitch. That one's driven in the air, deep center field. Heidelberg tracking it. He'll make the catch, but the runner from third will tag and will score with ease. That will put the Porters up 6-4, but it'll be the second out of the inning, and it'll bring up number 22, Martin Keenan. No, that's still Sheik. Yeah. Sheik stays in at DH. was the starting pitcher, as well as the DH stays in at the DH spot. It's 1-1. From pitch from Brown. Fastball outside. It's 2-1. Brown steps off. Comes pitch. That one's line foul. Out of play. Swing and a miss. Throw to first is in time for the third out of the inning. So Brown gets out of it, just one run allowed. We'll head to the bottom of the fifth. Porters lead 6-4. You're watching HF Viking Baseball. Evian Rodriguez up now for the Vikings. U.S. Or no, Australia. Fastball down the middle. Called for strike one. One and one. Here's the pitch. That one grounded up the middle. But fielded cleanly by the second baseman. Throw to first. It's going to be in time to get Rodriguez. Derek Holmes stepping up now. Pitch. Fouled off by Holmes. Here comes pitch. Wind up in the pitch to home. Curveball outside. 2-1. 2-1 count on home. Here comes the windup and the pitch. That one fouled off the net. So 2-2. Three-two count on home. Here in the bottom of the fifth. Here comes the windup in the pit. All four Holmes will take a walk. So he'll go to first with one out. That'll bring up Mateo Morales. Here comes pitch. High fastball. Throw to second was going to be good. Catcher had a good pop time, but just bobbled the ball. So Holmes gets the steal. And it's 1-0 on Morales. Comes pitch. That one's high. Two and 0. Here comes the pitch. High fastball. So it's 3-0 on Morales. Here comes the pitch. Fastball at the chest. Called for strike one on Morales. Here comes the pitch. Inside fastball. Called for strike two on Morales. The two straight pitches, he thought he was getting a walk. Two straight pitches called for strikes. Here comes the pitch. That one's low. Morales gets rung up for strike three. He doesn't think it was, but he'll head back to the dugout. So that's 2 outs now. Ryan Myers will step up to the plate. Comes pitch. Got one in the dirt. Blocked by the catcher, though. Yeah. 1-0 count. Here's the pitch. Fastball down the middle. Myers takes it for strike one. 1-1 count. Pick-off attempt. Holmes back in plenty of time. Here comes pitch. Fastball down the middle. 1-2 on Myers. 1-2. Myers calls timeout. Comes the pitch. Fastball, that one's high on Myers. 2-2. Two count. Here it comes. Holmes leads off second, 2 outs. Myers went, they said. He'll go to first. Throw to first is in time for a third out of the inning. So Vikings get nothing across. We'll head to the top of the sixth. Porter still leads 6-4. You're watching HF Viking Baseball. comes the pitch from Brown. That one's driven in the air to left field. Scott coming on, it'll get down. So another leadoff hit for the Porters in the top of the 6th. Here comes the pitch. Fastball called for strike 1. Oh and 1 count here on Metcher. Brown comes set. Pickoff attempt. Scooped by Rodriguez. Here comes the pitch. Bunt gets down, and it's a great one. Cassidy will field it. They'll throw to first. It's not going to be in time. They'll throw it back to third. And the throw will get out of Bohannon's glove. As he can't squeeze it. It'll be runners at the corners now for the Porters. Still nobody out. Jalen Connie substituting in for Javoris Bohannon. So no outs. Runners at the corners for the Porters. And it'll be Miller up to the plate. Comes the pitch. That one's grounded. Connie makes the play. He'll stop it, but he can't make the throw. Doesn't even attempt one. So it'll be runners at first and second. As one run does score, it'll put the Porters up 7-4. So runners at first and second will head back up to the top of the order. It's Flood. Brown comes set. Here comes the pitch. Fastball fouled off on the bunt. 0-1. Comes the pitch. That one's bunted. So the first is in time for the first out. Pump fake throw home from Rodriguez. So another run will score for the Porters on the RBI ground out. It'll be 8-4. Satanas up now for the Porters as he pops that one sky high in the air. Foul out of play. Here comes pitch. That one's bunted fair Brown will field it, throw to first. Not in time, as it's a wild throw from Brown. So they'll throw it in. Another run will score for the Porters. It's now 9-4. Satanas will get to second on the bunt. So it'll be a runner on second. Sorry, that was Del Ponte. Satanas now coming up to the plate for the Porters. Here comes the pitch from Brown. Fastball called for strike one. It's 0-1. Here comes the pitch. Fastball high and away. Here comes the pitch from Brown. That one's grounded. Rodriguez will field it. He'll take it to first on his own for a third out of the inning. But now for the Porters, scratch 3 more across. They now lead 9-4. We'll head to the bottom of the 6th. You're watching HF Viking Baseball. All right. Connie up to the plate now for the Vikings as he takes fastball down the middle for strike one. Here comes the windup. And the pitch. Fastball, that one's low. One count on Connie. Here comes the pitch. Fastball, that one's low. So 2-1. Comes the pitch. Fastball called for strike two. So 2-2. Wind up and the pitch. Swing and a miss from Connie. That's the first out of the inning for the Vikings. It'll bring up Jack Cassidy now with 1 out. Comes the pitch. Fastball called for strike 1. Comes to wind up in the pitch. Fastball, that one nearly clipped Heidelberg on the foul ball. So it's 0-2. Wind up in the pitch, high fastball. Taken for ball 1 by Cassidy. 1-2. Comes to wind up in the pitch. Swing and a miss from Cassidy. So 2 outs now. It'll bring up Demir Heidelberg. Comes to wind up in the pitch. Fastball down the middle. Called for strike 1 on Heidelberg. Comes the pitch. Fastball called for strike 2 on Heidelberg. Wind up and the pitch. Fastball, that one's lined down left field line by Heidelberg. It'll get down. He'll get into second with the 2-out double for the Vikings. And that'll bring up Jameer Scott. Throw down to third on the steal from Heidelberg. He's safe in there at third. The tag did not get him. The throw beat him by a while, but he did not get the tag on. Here comes the pitch. Fastball called for a strike. 1-1 now on Scott. That one gets away. Heidelberg could have been home, but decided not to go. So it's 2-1 on Scott. That one's fouled off by Scott. So it's 2-2 on the starting left fielder. 2-2 count on Scott. Here's the pitch. That one in the dirt. So it's 3-2 now. Here comes pitch. Fastball outside. Scott will go to first on the walk. So now runners at the corners for Arthur Stamps. Cayman Robertson coming into pinch run for the Vikings. So runners at the corners for Stamps. 2 outs. Comes the pitch. That one's low and away. One and 0. Fastball down the middle. One and 1. Here comes the pitch. Fastball called for strike 2. One and 2. Here it comes. Fastball in the dirt. Robertson steals second easily. So now 2-2 on Stamps. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. That one's fouled off. Hits the net, comes back in play. So still 2-2 on Stamps. Still 2-2 count. Here comes the pitch. That one's grounded to third. Good, the Cooney throw to first. Is in time, but it's in the dirt. Can't scoop out is the first baseman. So the Vikings get a run. It's now 9-5. It'll be runners at the corners again, this time for Evian Rodriguez. Pitcher comes set. Here comes the pitch. Fastball high and away. It's 1-0. Here comes the pitch. That one's fouled off by Rodriguez. Here comes the pitch. Fastball, that one's low. So 2-1. Here comes the pitch. Inside fastball called for strike 2. 2-2 now on Rodriguez. Here comes the pitch. That one's grounded to second. Fielded cleanly. Throw to first is in time. The Vikings will jog out for the top of the 7th. They'll try to hold the Porters, keep the game within reach. Way to the top of the 7th, you're watching HF Viking Baseball. Bunt got down. Cassidy tried to field it, but bobbled it. showing. Throw down to second. Runner goes back to first, though. Here comes the pitch. Throw down to second. Not in time. Here comes pitch from Scott. That one's fouled off. So 1-2. Here comes the pitch from Scott. That one fouled off again. One, 2 count still. Scott comes set. Here comes the pitch. Slider away. So 2-2. Here comes the pitch. That one's popped in the air. Calomino coming on for the Vikings. He'll make the first out as he makes a deep catch into the center field. Scott comes set. Here's the pitch. That's a fastball on the outside part of the plate called for strike one. So it's 0-1. Scott set. Here's the pitch. That one's popped in the air to center field. Calomino has a read on it. He'll make the catch. Runner tags. Throw to third is not going to be in time. So the runner will tag. He'll get to third. And it'll be 2 outs for the Vikings now. Metcher up now for the Porters. Scott comes set. Here it comes. Fastball fouled off by Metcher. It's 0-1. Scott comes set. Here's the pitch. Change up just a bit low. 1-1. Scott comes set. Here's the pitch. Fastball on the inside part of the plate. Just missed. It's 2-1. Here comes 2-1 from Scott. That one's popped up. Foul out of play. So 2-2 now on Metcher. Here comes the pitch. Curveball just a bit outside. So it's a full count now. Here comes the pitch. Fastball low and inside, so Metcher will take the walk. Screep back in to hit for the Porters. Scott comes set. Comes the pitch. Fastball, that one's popped high in the air. Stamps coming on. Rodriguez just lets it drop. But it's a foul ball, so it'll be 0-1. Here comes the pitch from Scott. Fastball low and away. That one's flied in the air. Stamps has an eye on it. He's coming in, though. He'll slide and he'll make the catch. Just barely got it, but he does. So we'll head to the bottom of the 7th. Vikings down by 4. Looking to tie it up or walk it off. Their last chance. You're watching HF Viking Baseball. Calamino up to the plate. Taking 3 straight balls to start the at-bat. It's 3-0. Here comes the windup in the pitch. That one's on the outside part of the plate. Called for strike 1. So it's 3-1 on Calamino. Inside fastball. So 3-1 on the on Calamino. Fastball taken for ball 4 by Calamino. He'll jog to first with the walk. So no outs. Calamino leads off first. Mateo Morales up for the Vikings. It's fastball down the middle. It's called for strike 1. So 0-1. Comes the 0-1 pitch. That one's grounded. Gets past the second baseman. Calamino on his way to third. The throw to third is cut off. The throw back to first, but Morales will be back in plenty of time. So the Vikings posing a little bit of a threat here in the bottom of the 7th. It'll bring up Ryan Myers to the plate with runners at the corners. Here comes the pitch. Fastball called for strike 1. Oh and 1 here on Myers. Morales leads off first. Here comes the pitch. Fastball down the middle. Called for strike 2. So it's 0-2 here on Myers. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss from Myers. Throw down to second on the steal. Is not going to be in time as it goes into center field. Morales kicks it out of the glove. They call Morales out on the steal for kicking the ball out of the glove, I guess. They're going to send Calamino back to third as well. So a huge momentum killer for the Vikings, as that's now 2 outs in the inning. Calamino will go back to third, and it'll be Connie up as the last chance for the Vikings. Comes the windup and the pitch. Oh, 2 now on Connie. Down to the last strike. Here it comes. Fastball fouled off. Staying alive. It's 0-2 still. Here comes the pitch. Fastball just a bit low. 1-2. Here comes the pitch. Slider outside. 2-2. Comes the pitch. Fastball just a bit high. So it's 3-2 on Connie. Here comes the pitch. Cassidy up now after the walk by Connie. Here comes the pitch. Fastball down the middle, called for strike one. 0-1 on Cassidy. The 0-1. Fastball high inside on Cassidy. 1-1. Runner goes to second, and Connie gets there in plenty of time. An attempted pickoff to third. Connie went right away on the steal. One count. Here comes the pitch. Fastball called for strike two. Yeah, I don't know why I said fastball. Messed that up. So 1-2 count on Cassidy. 2 outs. Down the last strike. Here it comes. That one's driven into center field. Center fielder's got an eye on it. Easy catch he'll make to end the game. Final score 9-5. So the Vikings and Porters split the series at 1 apiece. Vikings now 1-1 in conference play and 7-5 overall. Thank you so much for watching. Vikings Flawless 1 9-5. Thank you so much for watching.